And first, I'd like to thank Mr. Regan, class, Chief Kruger, and Detective Johnson for their great presentation today. I was listening to his presentation, and I was thinking, I gotta ask. I just have to ask to find my mentor, to find anything that I want. And so thank you for giving the speech today.
You also get the phone number so you got questions.
Yeah. Just email it. So when I was 10 years old, I came to the US. I could barely speak English, and I did not know how to form a proper relationship with other people. All I could do was wait for people to just come to me first, so they can reach to me first. And that made me realize how important it is to confront for a relationship. Relationship can form between friends, family, co-workers, maybe even complete strangers. They can affect in many different ways, such as helping us in communicating with each other, able to trust each other, taking responsibility for your own actions. For that reason, it will be very important to build a relationship, and mainly relationship for your peers and your family members. Peer relationships can be defined as peer acceptance, which represents social status or popularity within a large group. On the other hand, friendship represents relationship based on mutual respect, appreciation, and liking. To have a healthy relationship doesn't always mean that you have a lot of friends, but it means that you're accepted by people, and you're accepted by a group of other people. Peer relationship is important because it will provide a unique context in which children learn a range of critical skills, such as emotional skills such as empathy, cooperation, problem-solving strategies. Peer relationships can also contribute negatively to emotional development through bullying, exclusion, and dividing peer processes. Some ways to build peer relationship are small things like encouraging positive relationship, expressing concerns, asking concerns, and setting limits when necessary. Additionally, one of the most important methods in building peer relation is through learning how to resist peer pressure. Practicing this could prevent possible action that should not be occurring. Peer relations could also affect learning. For younger students like myself, providing an environment that enriches learning opportunities with fellow students who model positive learning values will set the new learner on a path towards academic achievement. For this reason, parents want us to make good friends, form strong relationships. Encouraging elementary school students to interact with peers who possess strong learning desires can support students' development as learners. Although peers' influences may not be as powerful as they have potential to be in students' achievement motivation, the benefits are still clear. Even when we're aware of the several methods in building strong peer relationships, we still find a way to struggle to maintain a healthy relationship. This is due to the inability to disputes and disagreements between peers. Because of disagreements, communication between peers becomes a recurring issue which will ultimately alter the strength of relationships. Just like our relationships could affect us, family relationship can also affect us in several ways. The main functions of family is to teach its members how to function in the world. A family should provide love and warmth to all of its members. A strong family gives its members the support they needed to make it through life's toughest spots. Some factors of a strong family relationship is that they have open lines of communication, where all family members feel heard and respected. Communication is always the largest necessity for a relationship. Therefore, they should always be communicating positively. Another trait that shows a strong family relationship is the ability to encourage support. To create a sense of support, a family must encourage everyone to learn to distinguish between things that are important or not important to their family members and do their best to support each other through the troubled times. Everyone in the family should feel empowered to share the good news as well as share the bad news. The most effective method in causing the empowerment is to increase your listening skills and those of other family members. Until we develop strong listening skills, we cannot build a strong relationship. Also, strong families are able to work through things they disagree about focusing problems rather than tearing each other down. Relationships are the key to success. Without them, one would not be able to take proper action with other people. I think that I possess a healthy relationship between my peers and my family members. In order to keep this relationship, I focus on listening to others, seeing their actions, and trying to act accordingly. I think that relationships are important because they can help you step out of the room and reach for a bigger community instead of having to be alone. Being part of something will help your life emotions develop better. USLEC is a great place to research, to understand several interesting topics about the world, and to share my ideas about it. By participating, I will without a doubt be able to improve my public speaking skills, as well as expressing my ideas so that other people listen to me and also formulate an opinion about it. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse. The most important part of being a nurse is to have communication with the patients so they can understand in a language that they can understand. I hope by participating in this program, I get one step closer to the dream of becoming a nurse. Thank you.
Not over yet. Are there any comments? Are there any questions from anybody in the audience? Payback's a bitch, right, Ron?
Talking about peers, do you consider yourself a leader or a follower?
I think I'm a leader.
Because when you get into that group of peers, if you're a total follower and you don't communicate, you can wind up going the wrong direction. So I'm sure the detective sees that a lot. In youth, if you mix with the wrong crowd and you're not that leader, you're the follower, right down the toilet.
Anybody else?
My question to you is, you said you wanted to be a nurse.
Yes.
Okay, a nurse is similar to law enforcement, helping people. Is that why you want to become a nurse? Or because you talked about communication skills. We need communication skills too. So can you elaborate a little bit why you want to become a nurse?
The main reason why is because my sister, she's always been a role model, and she's currently in like a nursing school in Philadelphia. So like that's also an event. But I also want to help other people because I haven't really like helped other people in my life a lot. So when I grow up, I just want to do that.
We're going to help Peter become a nurse, no doubt. Okay, David Chung is our next presenter. David Chung's from the Bergen County Academy. He's a 10th grader, and his mother is Yoon Kyung. Where is Yoon? Oh, Yoon, get ready. You need to come up here too. Okay, David, it's all yours.
Thank you. My name is David Chung, and I'm a sophomore at the Bergen County Academy, so I'm at the Medical Academy right now. Before I start my presentation on how to build healthy relationships and how to build a strong mental personality, I'd like to take a moment to thank State Investigator Ronald Reagan. I'd like to thank Chief Robert Kugler. And finally, Lieutenant Detective Thomas Johnson. So I'll start off with how to build healthy relationships that deal with your peers and your family. To answer the question quite directly, I'd probably say that the key is to communicate well. I think this concept is very applicable to a group like this, where it's dealing with families. I see like parents all over the place with their accompanying children. Law enforcement officers that are here to help us learn and grow and develop. But I think what's important to organizations like these are to communicate well, to interact. I think having bonds between the students and between the parents are integral parts of being able to raise a proper community. I think so far we've done a pretty good job, so thank you again. When it comes to peers, this is more a lesson more of a message to the teenagers in this group right now. I think right now the biggest problem in our social environment is kind of problems that deal with kids feeling lonely a lot and not really having much of a social circle. And I think this is a good time to kind of say how if you want to build strong relationships, you should find people that have common interests with you, and you should find people who are going to, sorry, I think you should find people who are going to find common interests with you, and you should learn to connect with those people, because I think those people are going to become very special later on in your life. When it comes to parents, me personally, I think I have a pretty good relationship with my parents, my mom and dad, but sometimes I think I'm a teenager, so sometimes I get a bit annoyed at them. I think sometimes I get a little bit overprotective, but I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on relationships between teenagers and their parents right now, because I think for many teens, it's all about their peers in the social, in their social circle. But I think your family is one of your biggest, I guess, lines of support, and your family is very important to you, and you should rely on your parent for support. And that was what I wanted to say when it came to the family aspect. I'd say, moreover, the point of talking about how to build healthy relationships is to put yourself around good people. And I'm going to use that to segue into my next point about how to build a strong mental health personality. Right now, one of the big problems among young students that are in the teenage age range are that they have mental health problems. And I think everyone can accept that as a part of today's culture, as unfortunate as it is. I think it's very important to acknowledge that and to say that this is a problem that needs to be worked on right now. And I'm using this platform as a way to spread awareness about that message, that when it comes to building a healthy mental personality, you need to help your friends. You need to be there to support your friends, and you need to do things that make you as an individual happy. When it comes to individuals, there's the problem of running into personality clashes. I think we're all in this room very mature, and I think we're all mature enough to get over our differences and to accept our differences and realize that we are all different people and that we all have different talents. So that was most of my speech, but I guess to conclude, the final thing I'd like to say to the kids is that you should work to surround yourself with the people that you're going to that are going to be a big part of your life in future years. Thank you for that.
David, that was excellent. You talk about mental health today, and when I was growing up, I didn't see a lot of mental health issues. Let me ask you a question. Maybe you'll be able to answer this one. Do you think there's a correlation between mental health and, I don't want to throw this out, but like social media today?
Yes, I definitely would agree. Today's age is very different from the age that our parents grew up in, because our parents didn't really grow up with our cell phones right in our pockets. Our generation is very different in the way that I think for most teens, their value is defined by how they are accepted in social media. I think social media is a very integral role in children's lives today, and how they are viewed, how many followers they get, how many likes they get on their posts, and I think that is a very contributing factor to mental health. Kids, I think, I'm not one to say that social media is necessarily all that bad, but I think social media does have a good part to do with it, and I think it's more important that kids decide to take time to reflect on themselves.
Okay, Terry Park, where are you at? Terry Park, right here, right in front of me. Hi, Terry. Terry Park is a 9th grader, also at the Bergen County Academy, and somebody came and stole your pocketbook. Was that your mother? Young? Where's Young? You here? Okay. Somebody came here and took your pocketbook. I see. Okay, your aunt stole your pocketbook. Okay, Terry, it's all yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Terry Park, and I'm currently in the 9th grade at Bergen Academies. So today I'd like to start off with a personal anecdote of mine with a bit of a different perspective. So I think my parents first realized that I was beginning my reign of adolescence when I was around 11. So I'm the only child in the house, which means I'm also my parents' first child. And most parents might say that the stage of infantry is the most difficult time for a new parent, but interestingly enough, my parents say that it was around when I was a 6th grader. My parents, of course, not having a degree in tween anger issues, bought a book, and I even remember the name of the book. I think it was called Mindset Makeover. My mom really couldn't take her eyes off of this book and even tried to make me read it. That horribly ugly yellow book with this title and this dreadful text bubble, I really hated that book, but somehow, in the end, I was led back to the book that I had once called my enemy. I spent 3 years learning to control the adolescent tendencies and troubles that teens have with making relationships that all teens go through, and these are the 6 lessons that my enemy taught me. 1. Make peace with your past so that it does not affect your present. 2. What others think of you is none of their business, but it's also none of yours. 3. Time heals almost everything, so just give it some time. 4. You are in charge of your own happiness. Don't let others make you think otherwise. 5. Smile. You are in charge of solving all the problems in the world. And finally, 6. A mentally healthy personality comes in a pair with good relationships. I'm 14 now, meaning that 3 years have passed. Creating friendships and relationships really isn't as easy as it seems. Be consistent with your friends and family. Make sure that they know that you love and respect them, and that you're genuine, trustworthy, and humble. I've learned in these 3 years that time plays an important role in the making of relationships. Good relationships just don't happen overnight. They come after months, or even maybe years of friendship and trust. Pay attention to them and be a good listener. Life is all about relationships. It's about the people you meet and the relationships you make with them. I've learned that it isn't what I have in my life, but who I have in my life that counts. Thank you, and another big thanks to State Investigator Ronald Regan, Chief Robert Kugler, and Lieutenant Detective Thomas Johnson. Thank you.
Terry,
Yes,
excellent speech again.
thank you.
You talked about relationships and forging relationships.
Yes.
I know for a fact that I have 3 kids, and it's tough, and you talk about everything that hit home to me. Do you feel today, I know we can't go back, but do you feel today it's harder to be a teenager when you talk to your parents?
Of course. I mean, even though I'm
And
an
why?
only child, but my friends always, I mean, I have, I'd say, a closer relationship with my parents since they don't have any other child's focus on. I mean, I have my 2 dogs, but, you know, I'm like the main person in the house other than my 2 parents. But I always hear stories from like my friends talking about how they're the middle child and they always have problems talking to their parents because like the generations just really aren't the same. It's different from when you were a kid and like I know the baby boomer stage there were like 10 kids in each household and it was it's a while back, but it's really different. It's different from how we are now, where parents work late and it's hard creating relationships with people who matter most in your life. And just like David said, it really changes your mental personality and how you act in your social life. So I believe that what happens at home makes up most of what happens out there in the real world. It's something you learn from a really young age and you get to use it as you grow older.
Our last presenter is Joshua Kim. Where you at, Joshua? Right here. Joshua Kim is also a 9th grader of Bergen County Academy. And maybe mom and dad are here, both? Okay, where are you? Kyung-hee, where you at? Okay, hello, how are you? Don't be too excited back there. Okay, Joshua, let's go.
So my name is Joshua Kim and I'm a freshman in BCA. And before I start presenting, I would like to thank State Investigator Ronald Reagan, Chief Robert Kugler, and Lieutenant Thomas Johnson for being here and spending time out of their schedule to listen to us present our ideas. So building strong, healthy relationships with others will always help people through life. And there is always a question of how to build these relationships. And the answer simply is communication. Since communication is basically how we express our ideas and how we get to understand each other. And without effective communication, we can start to see our relationships crumble and life seems to get more difficult as time progresses. And peer and family relationships work differently, but overall communication and time really makes up a healthy relationship. And as a teen, I can credit a lot of my problems to being a lot more moody than I usually am. And parents nowadays don't understand I guess teen problems as much. And so this clash of personality ideas can really affect one's mindset and personality. So I feel like actually having a one-on-one talk to each other can really allow people to understand each other better with a more clearer mind. And since teens and parents both go through frustrations, and to come to terms with that, effective communication can help them understand each other. And additionally, if you surround yourself with unhealthy people in school, of course your mindset will start to take a toll on that. So I believe that surrounding yourself with a healthy, supportive community can really help yourself grow further. And once again, communication can always help people make more familiar with each other, and it makes them feel like they actually can have someone to rely on. And like I said before, you can't rush a relationship, and I feel like time will always help you get closer to each other and help you reinforce family or peer relationships. And all in all, I believe that these bonds that people you have built with will always support you, and even through the toughest moments of time. And to actually build these relationships, all you need is effective communication and to understand each other's ideas and where you're coming from. So basically, a mix of communication and commitment into any relationship can help you build family and peer relationships.
Now, let me ask you, as a ninth grader, freshman in high school, in today's social media environment, I know years ago, especially I traveled overseas, I've been to Korea, China, many other countries, and in those countries, the family time is very important. They will sit at the table and they will discuss and they will become a family, real tight family. Fast forward now into the 21st century, here we are with social media and Facebook and different things with your phone and doing all these things. So you'll find it's harder to build those effective communication links personally around a table as opposed to the phone.
I believe that social media can distract you from your family, and you could get too focused on your phone instead of actually spending time with people who support you and love you. And I feel like instead of using your phone, you should take that time to really appreciate what your parents have done for you and talk to them.
It looks like you're going to have a very amazing year based on the four presenters today. The presentation was excellent. Seems like you guys did a lot of work preparing it. And at the same time, I think the four student coordinators were they played a very heavy role helping them out and getting them ready. And I think the four student coordinators will play a very large role in this whole year. Thank you again for the four student coordinators for volunteering. And at the same time, I'd like to thank the special guest today, Chief Cooler, Mr. Reagan, and Lieutenant Johnson. Thank you again for your time. For the next month meeting, there will be our second presentation meeting. It will be based on juvenile crime, and the more details will go out. However, it's in the program already. So please take a look at it. If you have any questions, please forward your questions to your student coordinators. I'm sure they will be able to help you out. They're more than willing to help you out. And today, the 4 presenters did an excellent job. The rest of you, don't worry. You know, we understand this is your first time doing public speaking. We all have to go through it. And this year with student coordinators, you're going to get a lot of help from them. So don't worry too much. Just do your research, understand the topic, and we'll without any problem. One of the benefits of this program is, like Mr. Regan said, that it's networking. Really take advantage of that. And again, start updating your resumes. Are you ready? Because you never know. You never know. Okay? And collect those business cards. Collect those business cards. And one of the things that we talked about today was establishing relationships. This is your first time establishing relationships with the special guests. But also, you guys talked about having better relationship with your parents, your peers. And our hope is that through this program, that relationship and the communication channel opens up a little more and perhaps closer than ever. You are at a stage, 14, 15, 16 years old, you want to get your identity. At the same time, parents are there to help you along. And through this program, and based on the topics that we're going to talk about, hopefully you will get closer to your peers, also the friends you have here, as well as the parents that will be participating in this program. So for the next session, please come prepared with your presentations. At the same time, all those other people who's not presenting also prepare with your essays. We're going to be reviewing them. They are due 2 weeks prior, right? You're supposed to submit them 2 weeks prior to the meeting so that we could review and give you the feedback, so that perhaps you could update, modify, and improve on your final presentation. Okay? It's a great meeting today. Thank you very much for all your preparation, and also for the special guests. Thank you very much.